welcome to Drawing Furry Friends of the Saints. In this episode, we will be drawing the hyena who was friends with Saint Mark the Ascetic. After being tonsured as a monk by his teacher, St. John Chrysostom, St. Mark lived in the desert for 60 years. While in the desert, he prayed and fasted and often cried when he found any of God's creation suffering. Once he was crying over a hyena's blind cub and prayed to God that the cub would have its sight again. After he prayed, the cub was able to see again, and the very thankful mother hyena brought him a sheepskin to thank him. When St. Mark saw the sheepskin, he told the hyena she was never to take sheep from poor people again. St. Mark continued to live in the desert until he was 100 years old. Now, before we begin our drawing, you will need a piece of paper, a pencil, a black or dark colored marker, and whatever else you would like to color and finish your drawing. If at any point in the video you need to catch up, don't be afraid to pause and then start again when you are ready. To begin, let's draw a small circle on the top left side of your paper for the hyena's head. Next, let's add 2 curved C shapes at the top for her ears. Just like that. Now towards the bottom of the circle you drew for the head, draw a short diagonal line to touch the edge of the circle. Next, let's loop the line around to make her muzzle. At the top left side of the muzzle, draw an oval for her nose. Let's color in 2 small ovals on the sides for her nostrils. Finally, let's make that bottom line of her muzzle a little longer to add a smile. Let's add 1 more shorter curved line underneath for her chin. Okay, before we add more details to the face, let's work on the hyena's body. Starting toward the bottom of the ear you drew on the right, draw a slightly curved line down. From the bottom of the chin, draw another curved line down to make the hyena's neck. Moving back to the top neckline, draw a curved line looping around and connecting to the bottom neckline to make the middle of her body. Next, let's add her legs. Starting at the end of that bottom neckline, draw a curved line down. Next, add a short straight line with a little bump in the middle for her knee. Then let's add a little curve for her foot. Finally, let's draw a line back up and slightly over her belly line to connect the leg to the body. From that corner of the first line you drew for her leg, draw a diagonal line out, and then let's add another little knee and foot. Moving to the back, let's draw a bigger curved line 1 or 2 fingers width to the right of her backside. Continue that curved line well below the middle body line. Add a shorter straight line so that the back leg is the same length as the front legs, and then add a little loop for her back foot. Draw another straight line back up, and then draw a shorter curved line to connect back to the body. Again, let's add 1 more diagonal line coming out from that back leg and add another loop for her other back foot. Before moving back to finish her head, let's add a tail. Begin at the top of the back of her body and draw a straight line down. Draw a diagonal line back up to touch her back leg to finish the tail. Okay, before we do a bit of erasing, let's add her eyes. A little to the right of the center of her head, draw a small O shape, leaving the white in the middle. Draw 1 more close to the left side of the circle. Add short straight lines to the tops of the O's to finish her eyes. Now before we add our final details, let's erase the lines we don't need. I've made these lines red. If you need to pause the video at this point, please do so and then start again once your lines are erased. Alright, let's add a few last details before we begin coloring. Hyenas tend to be pretty scruffy, so let's add a few zigzag lines across the top of her head and neck to give her a little more scruff. Next, let's add a curved line across and up to make the inside of her ear. Add one more curved line to the other side. Finally, let's make the line under her chin a little longer and add a few zigzags for a bit more scruff. Now, before you begin coloring, if you decide you'd like to trace over your lines with a black marker, you're welcome to do so, but it's not necessary. You can finish your drawing using whatever art supplies you'd like to color in your hyena. If you have time, I'd invite you to look for pictures of hyenas in books or online to find out more about the colors and patterns God has given them. And just like that, you've drawn the hyena who was friends with Saint Mark the Ascetic. Thanks for drawing with me today. I hope you're inspired to continue drawing furry friends of the saints. May the Lord bless you and keep you always.